I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be an agriculturist. And that is how the rebel nature came in, from where I just kept on trying and testing new things to see, okay, what can I do? What can I do other than what I already have? Thank you to my parents and all. They put me in one of the best schools in Pakistan, HSN College. The industry and the academia needs to come together as well. That is what we're trying to do.
That is so powerful. I think so if I understood correctly, so what you are saying, that entrepreneurship is very important even for engineers. So when they're doing their final year project, instead of doing a hypothetical case, they should find an actual problem.
Thank you to my sales team and the marketing team that they've done an excellent job. So I give a lot of credit to these companies like MediaTek and Qualcomm. Hardware is one of the most important things. If you look at what currently is happening, it's the AI phenomena globally. While in Pakistan, we've spent a lot on the software side, we've neglected the hardware.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammed Naqi here. And Mohammed Naqi is a founder and CEO of Premier Code Limited with an amazing brand, Decode,
Yes.
a smartphone range that you have launched, which is assembled in Pakistan, and you're promoting localization, setting up the example that how we can actually produce world-class, best-in-class products from Pakistan.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us today. And what I would love, Naqi, is for you to walk us through your journey and what have you been up to with Premier Code and what your vision is.
Thank you, Amin. Thank you, Amin, for inviting me over and the wonderful introduction. So Premier Code was primarily a dream, which started off in 2020 at the peak of COVID. I was actually stuck in Pakistan. I was earlier in Dubai for my other ventures. So what happened was I was stuck in Pakistan and my family was here. I got a call from somebody who wanted to set up a factory for contract manufacturing. My idea to them was, if you're looking only for contract manufacturing, this is not the right place. This is not the right time to come into it. You'll have to set up your own brand. And this is how we clicked and we started off and we worked on it. Prior to that, I was working with a company called MediaTek, which is right now the largest volume-wise supplier of system on chip for smartphones. They're number one Android TV chipset supplier globally and one of the leading system on chip design company based out of Taiwan. I was heading Middle East, North Africa region for them, which made me travel a lot into Middle East, North Africa. For me, a month was divided into 4 weeks, where 1 week was in Saudi Arabia, 1 week was in Egypt, 1 week was in Algeria, and 1 week pretty much in Pakistan or any other country, and weekends for the family.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is from where I started getting the nag of what a smartphone is, how it is built, and how we can actually see. What I'd seen from 2011 onwards was the rise of local brands, and then the fall of it going in 2017 onwards as well. And what I realized was that most of the brands that have been successful or that have failed, there was a distinct difference between them. There were brands which were only sales and marketing brands. They were not investing on the R&D side. They were not investing on actual product development, but they were relying on their partners who were doing it in the back offices. Slowly and gradually, when the Chinese brands started building up, it is at that time that these regional brands or local brands started dying. They started giving up their space to them. So it was back in 2018-19, I realized that there is a need for a local brand in Pakistan which can grow, and we had the ambition of going global. And that is how we came up with our tagline as well. It's passionately Pakistani, ambitiously global. Beautiful. One day or the other, if the international brands like Apple or Samsung or some Chinese brands like Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi, and all the others. They've captured the international market. Why not somebody from Pakistan can take a small share in that international market as well? So this is how we all started off. And this is the small journey which started off in 2020 at the peak of COVID. And today we're here. We're pretty much at the launch of our fourth generation of our products, hopefully coming soon into the market as well. So this is a brief introduction about myself.
That is so powerful. And I think what I would love for you to share with us is the journey before, when you start traveling the world. Who is Naqi, and where did he start? The early, if you can.
So Naqi has always been a rebel, a free spirit, who always wanted to do something not confined into a job. So I've always been a risk taker. Be it my school days, be it my university days, I always wanted to do something different. So back in the university days, I ventured into, okay, let's go into digital production side as well to see how it is done. Back in the days, it was in 2000, talking about 2002, 2003. It was at that time when Flash. It's a video editing or an animation tool, which has now been acquired by Adobe. Earlier, it was Macromedia.
Mm-hmm.
We started developing documentaries in it. So our first customer at that time, though it did not get published, was a leading textile mill. We developed a documentary for them. And then while I was studying, I tried getting into drama production as well. So there've been a lot of ups and downs in the journeys that got me there. And I started off my professional career with a company called Cybernet, which is one of the leading ISP, internet service provider in Pakistan. I've worked with them for almost 3 to 4 years, and then made a switch to Mobilink, which at that now currently Jazz. They started their internet service provider company by the name of Infinity. So I was heading operations for them in the central region. From there, I made a switch to BlackBerry. Uh-huh. It is in 2009 when I first got my hands into hardware and specifically smartphone. And there's no looking back. From BlackBerry, it was MediaTek, and then Premier Code, and this is how the journey has been. MediaTek made me travel a lot across the entire Middle East, North Africa region to see what other brands are doing, how phone is made, how phone is developed, what are the intricacies that take to develop a phone and everything. So this is how I went. I've been to Taiwan a lot of times just to see how R&D is being done on the chipset side. Been to China a lot of times, met a lot of manufacturers who develop the phones to see how the phone is being developed. So I give a lot of credit to these companies like MediaTek and Qualcomm, where they came up with reference design, where they've actually commercialized or made the R&D accessible for everyone for developing a smartphone. While earlier it used to be majorly your Europeans and American brands or your Japanese brands, with companies like MediaTek and Qualcomm and the reference design that they provided, where they said, fine, we can give you a complete shell of the design of the phone. You can use that as your base point and start developing the phone on top of it. This is how it actually commercialized, and this is how back in 2007 onwards, the regional brands and a lot of original device manufacturers started popping up in China and all as well. So this I've learned a lot from the Chinese. I've learned a lot from the Taiwanese to see how a phone is developed and seen. And I've come up here.
That's amazing. Just the other day, I was speaking to a friend and I was saying to them that I don't want to hear how someone is well educated. I just want to know how well traveled they are, And it just literally opened your horizon to what the threshold or what the bar should be, whether it's to do with your personal life, whether it's to do with your professional life. And that is so powerful that because of that extensive travel, and I'm sure it's heavy on your personal life with the fatigue and everything else comes with it. Yes, on hindsight, one would be like, oh, that's amazing, you're getting to travel. But it's only nice at the beginning, and then you're like, oh my God, well, again. But the end product of that is that you just get that broader perspectives of different nations, how they're doing things, and then you can bring it back to your own sort of country and where you're from. So that's very powerful. And one thing you mentioned, that you have always been a rebel, and you mentioned that though be it your school days. So how was it like? When you were in school, what specifically do with the Pakistan that it is now, and when you were in school, how was it like?
See, it was pretty much similar. If you talk about the schools and all, fortunately, thank you to my parents and all. They put me in one of the best schools in Pakistan, HSN College. Um, uh, I made a lot of friends there. I learned a lot. They were not Everyone was not from the same cadre there, so you'd find everyone from all walks of life. You'll find people from Balochistan. You'll find people from Sindh. You'll find people from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, everywhere. Different types of people. So you get to meet them. You spend time with them. You spend time in the boarding school. You spend time with them in the sports fields. So it has been one of the best experiences. I've learned a lot from the school. I always tell that schools and universities are your networking grounds. While you can learn from any school, but the friendship and the networking circles that you develop are the things that you need to cherish the most of your schools and the universities.
Powerful. That is very powerful. And where do you think that rebel nature of yours come from?
I always wanted to do something different, not run of the mill thing. I belong from an agriculture family. For me, it was the easiest thing would have been that I can just fall back to the agriculture business and work on it and take it from where it is, from what my father has been doing. But I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be an agriculturist, though it's the easy route, but I wanted to do something different. And that is how the rebel nature came in, from where I just kept on trying and testing new things to see, okay, what can I do? What can I do other than what I already have?
That is so
That's the rebel nature. So even when I was doing my jobs, I was looking at ideas on what can be done otherwise as well.
No, that's very powerful. I think whatever we wake up in, or whatever we open our eyes with, we ultimately wants to try something which is unknown, and that's the beauty of it. Why do you think most of us actually get to lose that element? Why do you think we get suppressed along the way? Because this is very common human nature that we all have, that if we don't have something, we want to try something which we don't. So what do you think?
It doesn't get suppressed, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's that you just get into your comfort zone.
Hmm.
And that is why you think that it is suppressed, though it's not suppressed. We don't want to think about it because the comfort zone says, fine, why do you want to even think about it when you're already doing something which is giving you a good life? So in my opinion, it doesn't get suppressed.
And good is the biggest enemy of great, right? Good is the biggest enemy of great. Jim Collins says that in his book, right? So touching on this technology piece that you are working on. So hardware, it's very, resource extensive. It requires a lot of R&D. The moving parts are there, which requires, a lot more attention to intricacies. So why that difficult task? Why didn't you just go with the easy route of just, like software related, in technology? Why did you think the hardware was important?
See, the thing is, in my opinion, hardware is one of the most important thing. If you look at what currently is happening, it's the AI phenomena globally. While all the byproducts of AI are software related, but they're nothing without the hardware.
Mm.
So if the hardware is not there, your AI is you won't be able to get the AI or the LLMs or the models we're looking for to even process it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why hardware is one of the most important things. While in Pakistan, we've spent a lot on the software side, we've neglected the hardware. We think that the software is going to be the savior for us. While yes, it is going to be a savior, but you need to have the hardware capabilities available to get the most out of things as well. So the cherry on top is going to be the hardware, in my opinion.
Infrastructure, like you're working on.
Both the infrastructure side and also on the design side, the capability side. While software, you'll find software everywhere, software engineers everywhere. You will not find hardware engineers who are able to do software side as well. So it has to be a mix of both. That is what I think is one of the most, and that is what I think why China is successful as well. I was speaking to a lot of people there. They were telling me that, okay, you can find a handful of hardware or design engineers in Europe, US. But if you go to China, you'll find rooms full of these people. And that is how they've been successful. That is how they've been doing everything. While most of the R&D used to be done in other parts of the world, it is now being done in China as well.
That's a very interesting take.
And that is how they've become the manufacturer of the world, though it is shifting to other parts as well. But that is how they got the cream.
That is so good. So how are you fulfilling the talent needs, considering that what you are building? Do you find the talent which is ready to just come and join the company, or do you have to just work hard to get them to a certain level? How has that journey been?
So it's both. It's both way. We take help from our partners, and then we develop the engineers here as well. The rebel nature in me actually is one way or the other inculcated into the team as well. We push them to do more, or we push them to be out of their comfort zone. That is why we've developed a complete R&D division in the organization, where they're working on developing new products, where they're working on making things or re-engineering things that we get from China. Couple of examples that we have, we get a lot of machines from China because they're needed in our assembly line. So some of our engineers, and I'll say kudos to our CTO and the factory manager, who has been pushing the team to get things to the next level. They started developing things here, which helps us reducing the cost and also do things locally. And I take it as an example of what it used to be China, because they were pushed by the Europeans and Americans or all over the world to develop machines which it was difficult to develop or it was expensive to develop in other parts of the world, because the scale came in from China. So they started developing and reducing the cost. If they've done it, why not we can do it ourselves? Though it's right now at the experimental phase, but going forward, it is going to become commercial as well.
And how are we going to get there? Because obviously when China started, they needed to build the capabilities, and working on the capabilities require not just from the venture building space or the commercial side, but you have the educational institutions, then you have policymakers, and then you have the government initiative. So how are you finding that landscape currently?
See, the thing is, we cannot always push everything to the government. You'll have to start doing something, and then the government will follow suit. So I'm a firm believer of that, and I think if we start doing something, I know for a fact that government will start helping us. But if without doing anything, I go to the government and ask them for incentives, I will not get them. There's no such thing as free lunches anymore. So we have to do something, and we have to show them something to get something.
That is so powerful. You must give before you ask, right?
Exactly.
And you need to somehow show that you mean business, you're serious about it, and then universe will actually come together as well and
Exactly.
make paths for you, right?
Exactly.
And that is so beautiful. So practically, how are we going to build those capabilities, or what is the bird's view roadmap do you think we're going to need to do as a nation? And obviously, if you were to scale it and make a model that can be replicated by others as well, how do you see
So
that?
it's a two-pronged approach. While we need to make sure that the curriculum at our vocational institutes are enhanced and updated to what the modern needs are, and we also need to develop the engineers when they are in-house, or we need to give them some liberty to start thinking out of the box as well. So it is a two-pronged approach for me. While you start pushing the institutes to develop things for you, and you start pushing your own engineers to do extra things as well, and then also the industry and the academia needs to come together as well. That they need to look at, if I come to say about or think about it, that in any university there's a final year project. That final year project should be identified or fulfilling the solution local problems. It should not be a hypothetical or a problem that does not exist, or that is a very age old problem that has already been solved, and just to pass a course, you're just doing a. So the idea of R&D and the idea of doing things by hand should be inculcated into the academia side as well. So the industry and the academia needs to come together as well. That is what we're trying to do.
That is so powerful. I think so if I understood correctly, so what you are saying, that entrepreneurship is very important even for engineers. So when they're doing their final year project, instead of doing a hypothetical case, they should find an actual problem in Pakistan or in the local markets. And then their project should follow the suit to find the solution,
Exactly.
which is basically not just product driven, but it's problem driven.
Exactly.
So you're going to actually, inculcate the beginning of that cycle of entrepreneurship and
Yes.
meaningful progress. I love that perspective. This is so good. This is wonderful. Okay. So now coming to the challenges, right? So you said that, now you are coming to your fourth generation, which in such a short space of time, actually, if you think about it. So how was the early journey? What was your first generation like? And, like what was your second and third and fourth? And what was the key learnings or essence that you took out from when you started or when you were about to start and where you are now?
So the first thing and the foremost thing that we thought and we've understood is you can't shy away from competition. You will always have to take your competition head on. If you start shying away from your competition, the competition is going to kill you. So for us, the competition is all the international brands. So for us to succeed, we had to make sure that the products that we're bringing into the market, compete with all the international brands. So that was the benchmark for us. So for us to be able to even create a space for ourselves, we had to bring products that were better than the others. The biggest challenge has always been, okay, it's a new brand, price it low. Or what we've seen in Pakistan is, if it's a local brand, it should be low priced. This was our biggest challenge. And for that, I'd say thank you to my sales team and the marketing team, that they've done an excellent job by convincing the people that Pakistani brands are not cheap. The Pakistani brands are not low quality. Start using the product and you'll see the difference. That is how we developed our market as well. If you come to think of it, when we started off the first generation, we launched 4 products to see what kind of feedback we get. Second generation was, alhamdulillah, very well taken. Third generation, and then we had our challenges in our second generation because there were some forex issues for Pakistan. We could not open up LCs based on what we should have, but alhamdulillah, by the grace of God, everything went well. We maneuvered that storm as well. We channeled through from it as well. Gen 3 has been taken very well by the market. We try to be like any international brand where there's a design similarity in all the products that we bring in. There's a stability in the product side. There's that any product that is being taken by the customer, they're assured that it is well taken care of. And for that, what we do is we do 100% quality assurance at our factory at 3 different locations, 3 different times, just to make sure that the end product is spot on for the customer. And that is how we've developed ourselves. We've taken small steps. We've taken baby steps. We wanted to run, but we realized that if we start running at a very early stage, we might fall. And that fall in Pakistan or in mobile phone business, is not easy. Getting up is not easy. You get stomped. So we had to carefully plan ourselves. I would like to thank my sponsors. I'd like to thank the board members in the group as well that who had confidence in us and the entire team, and they've been supporting us on how we want to do it and how we were planning it. The journey for Premier Code has been, we started off very small. We had almost 200% growth the next year. And the year we've just closed, it's almost again 200% growth from the last year.
Amazing.
So volume wise, value wise, alhamdulillah, things are doing very well. And we're going to the next level.
And how big was the team? How did you get started? I'm actually very curious to know the steps that you took from ideation standpoint, like that. How did you take even a leap from, like traveling around the world, and then you're like, okay, now is the time. What was going through your head?
See, the thing is, whatever I am, it is because of Pakistan. And I always had a passion of developing a brand, smartphone brand, or a lifestyle brand, you can say. So it was, again, we started off, this idea came in June 2020. Or actually, it was not June 2020. I would say it was January 2019. When I'd left MediaTek and I was working on my own consultancy. I'd actually established a factory in Algeria for a company called Sevital, which is the largest private group in Algeria. We'd set up a factory for them and developed a brand for them for smartphones. Then there was a brand in Algeria called Condor. It's the largest smartphone brand in Algeria. Since I was traveling to Algeria a lot, I saw the potential for them to grow into Pakistan because I knew there is potential in Pakistan. So I thought that, okay, I'll bring this brand to Pakistan and we'll take it to the next level. We tried for a year and we did get some success as well. But due to some political issues in Algeria, the brand could not take it. We could not go to the next step. So we winded that up and then started this. So the idea started in June 2020. From June till October, the ideation and everything, and it was October 8th, the company was formed. And we started off with, it was 5 people. It was me, my CTO, Usman Tariq, and there's our head of programs, Hafiz Muhammad Rizwan. There's the head of after sales, Muhammad Irfan Hafiz, sorry. And then it was our CFO, Muhammad Yusuf. It was the 5 of us who started it off. Obviously, we had the backing of our group and also got all the support from the group. So we're part of a group called Premier Systems. It is one of the oldest and largest IT value system integrator in Pakistan. They've been the distributors for Dell, HP, Microsoft, Oracle, Juniper, you name it. They're primarily working in B2B space. Then they're also into automotive manufacturing as well, where they have the license for Volkswagen, where they're working on the factory setup. And then they are the exclusive distributors for Audi in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. And the fourth thing that they're also doing is they have a payment gateway, which is the first Pakistan's homegrown payment gateway. It's called PayFast.
Uh-huh.
So all the synergies were coming in. They had the hardware experience, they had the software capabilities, but they had none of their own brands. So this is how it all started.
So how did you pitch it? How did you go to the group? How was that journey like?
So they actually came to me.
Uh-huh.
They came to me that they were looking for a consultant who can help them set up a factory.
I see.
So I went back to them, said, fine, I can give you everything that you need to set up a factory, but it's not what you're looking for. If you want it to be a long-term business, you have to develop your brand. The problem is that if you do come into contract manufacturing, in my opinion, it's a very personal opinion. I might be wrong. You're just a warm body provider. You're not doing any value addition, or the principals will not transfer technology to you. For them, you're just a fulfillment of the policy that is there to bypass the extra taxation. So, and if you want to do more, you have to focus on yourself. And then with contract manufacturing, your scope is very much limited to the same country as well. If you talk about mobile phone, primarily what I've seen is that any developing countries, they've started doing local manufacturing. You take the example of, if I see somewhere around us, Bangladesh, 100% local. Actually, we'll start with Southeast Asia. Indonesia is all local manufacturing. Bangladesh is all local manufacturing. India is all local manufacturing. Pakistan, obviously being a big population, they had to go to that side as well, because we import approximately around $2 billion worth of mobile phone every year.
Wow.
Then you look at Egypt, local manufacturing. Turkey has been an advocate for local manufacturing since 2015-16 onwards. Algeria, local manufacturing. They actually stopped CBU imports into the country back in 2016.
Wow.
You have to have a local assembly factory prior if you want to import phones into Algeria. And Mexico, again, local manufacturing. So all these big hubs, or for all the Vietnam. I forgot Vietnam, which is one of the largest right now. They had to enable local manufacturing to make sure that they're getting the employment and technology transfers as well. The difference between us, India, I'll put India, Vietnam in one basket, and I'll put Pakistan, Bangladesh in another basket. And the difference between us and them is India is a large population market. You can say India right now is the largest population in the world. For them, it was a natural fit that all the international brands are going in and doing local assembly themselves or through their global contract manufacturers, because the economies of scale is there. While in Pakistan, the economies of scale is not there. It is still a growing population market, and it's when it comes to mobile phone penetration, it's not what it should be. What I've seen in the global space is that approximately a mobile phone used to be, back in the days, every 3 years changed. So almost, if my population is 100 million, yearly import of mobile phone was around 1/3 of it, around 30 to 33 million. While in Pakistan, the number is much lower. You can even divide that number into another half, because half of the population is still using feature phones. So if you look at the numbers from the past 4 years, I can say it's on an average 30 million mobile phones are imported into Pakistan, where the population is 240 million. So, which means that a phone is changed every 8 years.
Wow.
Including I'm taking the total market, not the total addressable market.
Yes.
So if I even look at the total addressable market, I'll say, okay, 50% of the population is still there. So the phone is changed every 4 years. Out of that, smartphone is only 1/2 of it. So which means the average life cycle of a smartphone is 8 years.
Wow.
This needs to grow.
Yes.
This needs to grow up to almost 30-40%. So right now the phones have become expensive. So the life cycle has, from 3 years, it has gone up to 4 to 5 years. So even right now, Pakistan is still not up to the mark. So the number needs to change. So the number will change.
Yes.
So if I take the example of India and China, China on an average back in the days was local consumption of mobile phone was more than 250 million.
Okay.
So if the population is around 1 billion plus, 250 to 300 million phones are changed every year. So which means that they were at around 1:3 or 1:4 ratio. Similarly, India. In India right now, I think stands at around 1.3, 1.4 billion population. Yearly consumption of mobile phone is close to 300 million. So this still the average life cycle is high, while in Pakistan the average life cycle is too low. And back in the days, you could actually count the brands on your hand. You had the Americans, you had the Koreans, and you had the Chinese. But there was no local brand which could actually provide quality smartphone. This is where we came in. We saw that gap and we said, okay, we'll develop a space. But it's a difficult market to come in, because your competition is it's a stiff competition. You're competing against the Chinese, who are known to be cutthroat. So you have to develop your niche, you have to develop your market. And developing a brand is not an easy thing.
100% it's not. And especially to do with a smartphone, which is, sometimes is of a greater value than life itself. If you lose your, if you check your pocket and you don't have your smartphone, you're like, oh my God, my heart just came, up in my throat. So, you mentioned that this average life cycle of a smartphone use is gonna, shorten. How is that gonna happen?
It's actually not going to shorten. What I'm saying is, your average life of a phone is 2 to 3 years. But there are people who replace it every year.
Yes.
This I'm talking about the overall population perspective.
Yes. And it's the average that you're talking about. Yes. That we make it last for 8 years before we change it. Before there is the new.
So this is primarily based on the research that, okay, if everyone changes it.
Yes.
But not everyone has the phone.
Yes.
So that is there. So
yes.
The market is going to increase.
Makes sense.
So it is going to increase to, in my opinion, around 50 million in next 5 to 10 years from 30 million. And the volume of feature phone is going to decrease as well. People will start moving more towards smartphone, or the digitization is going to start happening.
Yes.
That is how it's going to increase.
100%. So you said that you started with 5 people. You had the backing from the very, group, which is very much. So what's the vision here with Decode? Yes, you mentioned that this is what you're doing to promote localization and have the local assembly and local, So the vision lies in the mission statement that we have, or actually our tagline: passionately Pakistani, ambitiously global. So the vision is to go global. The vision is to develop Decode as a lifestyle brand, where it's not only smartphone. We bring in everything else into the picture as well. Anything related to mobility, we bring in. Okay.
Anything related to connectivity, we bring in. We've recently signed with one of the largest banks in Pakistan to do local manufacturing of point of sale machines. And would be the first one to do local manufacturing of point of sale machines as well.
Congratulations.
So, thank you very much. So for us, the vision is that we start bringing in IP into Pakistan. We start applying for patents from Pakistan. So we start doing the technology transfer for Pakistan, and we take it to the next level. We're doing baby steps, I'd say. We're leading localization when it comes to in Pakistan. We're the first one who've localized your USB cables in Pakistan. And just tell you, we're not doing everything in house. We're developing vendors. You can't do everything in house. If you start doing everything in house, the scale is not going to happen, and you're going to burn or you're going to exhaust yourself. So we've started developing vendors. we've started working with vendors to develop your TPU covers or your back covers that you call it. We've started developing vendors where we can actually start doing some of the plastic slash glass bodies that are used in the phones. We've started designing the phone ourselves.
Wow, that's a big step.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we're taking small steps. Going one step at a time. We can't do everything at the same time. So we're going for the low hanging fruit first, and then we're going to go for the big ones. So we've taken all those baby steps just to make sure we're there and we make a difference for everyone.
That is so powerful. So you are basically creating entire ecosystem where you are enabling other people who can basically support in their own vicinity, in their own power to, support the vision. That is so big. And when you say passionately, Pakistani, why? What is the drive? I know you mentioned that you come from Pakistan and whatever you are is because of Pakistan, and that's a grateful view, right? And often it's easy to look at glass half empty and then glass half full, but you have that passion, and I see this humility, this gratitude, this positive energy, here when you talk about these things, and I see a lot of passion in your eyes as well. So yeah, how does that get cultivated? Like, what are your thoughts around that?
See, passion. The reason for passionately Pakistani is we've been the tailor of the world, but we've not been able to develop a brand when it comes to your for any field of life. I would give a lot of credit to some of our clothing brands which have started going international and started making a name for themselves. But when it comes to technology, we don't have any brand, or when it comes to any other hard thing, we don't have any brand. While we're such a big
Service
provider in the market, why not? If others can do it, why not us? That is the biggest drive I have. If someone else has done it, we can do it as well, and we can do it better.
That is so.
And we'll try to do it.
And I think I would like to share and shed some light when you keep, reiterating the building a brand, right? So my personal story. So I come from very humble beginnings, right? So I remember being about 11 years of age. And we went to the used market to buy a first computer for myself. So my father brought me to buy a computer. And there were two options. Either he goes for some local or Chinese brand at that time. I can't remember exactly, but cheap processor in it. And then there was Intel, right? And the guy said that it's going to cost you, twice the amount, and your son is very young. So just give him this one and he'll be fine. And my father turned around, not very educated. He's worked 37 years as a waiter. He turns around and he says, no, give my son the best one, right? And it was Intel. And that seed got planted, the power of brand in my head, that about 20 additional 15, 17 years later, I will go and work for Intel. And I got myself a job because that brand perception that Intel was or known to be just got planted in my head that, oh, what a company it must be that in this part of the world, a child can get impacted. So it really does put the country on the map, right? So why is that important? Why do you think it's important?
It is important. It is important. We want to give a softer image of Pakistan. Pakistan is being perceived in a very different way globally. Pakistan is being perceived that it's not a safe country. Nothing happens in Pakistan. It's that people here don't want to work. We want to change that. We want to change that to or people in Pakistan are not reliable, trustworthy. That needs to change. And that can only be changed if you develop a brand which is providing you quality over quality over quality every time you want to go and buy this product. So that is the reason it has to be there.
And how do you maintain the culture? Because you see, driving quality or promising that we are going to deliver quality is one thing. and actually delivering quality, especially when you have a lot of moving parts. What is your recipe? What is it that you do to keep the team on path and, like on the actual values? What is the driving factor?
See, it has always been the team first, or the team that has been developed has been developed in a way that it's all of the like-minded people that we have. So we try to inculcate the same thing into the team as well, that this is what we are, this is what we are striving for, and this is what we will be. There's no shortcuts in life, and there won't be any shortcuts here as well. If you're cut out for this, you're more than welcome to work with us. Otherwise, go find something else.
Very
And
clear.
I'd like to add that more than 80% of the people when we started off are still with us.
That is such an achievement. That is such an achievement. I think I know, with your humble nature, right? I know there is a lot that goes behind the scenes to make it happen, right? But, cultivating that kind of culture comes from the why, So what do your team thinks? Do you think, what are they doing? Why are they doing it? And how do you make sure that they know the why?
See, that's it's actually a very difficult question as well. That how do I cultivate the why, or how do I keep on pushing the why? Uh, More than a team, it's a family, and we've been pushing them. We've been telling them that this is how it has to be, and we have to be different than everyone else. For us, unlike we try to be like an international company or international brand, where it's not a one man show. Everyone is responsible for their deeds. Everyone is answerable on what they have to do, and what they should be doing. Though being the CEO, I should be the final decision maker in most of the things. I'm not. I'm just there to make sure the team is motivated, and we're on the right path, and we're delivering what we'd promised to our shareholders. So this is the main objective, or main focus area that I work on. And this is how if and this is how we've been able to give the why to the team, that this is what you need to do. They're free to make decisions. They're free to make any changes they want to do. They're free to do whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, they just have to deliver the results, make ensuring that they are within the processes that we've developed. They're not doing anything unethical or morally wrong. So this is how we've been able to do, by giving them free hand to experiment. In what we've seen in most of the companies like us, we don't give a free hand for experiments. We discourage them to fail.
Yes.
We discourage them that, okay, if you failed here, that's the door for you, just go out. We've told them it's okay to fail. It's okay, but just give it a try. See if it's beneficial or not. It's going to be a small loss that we're going to incur, but at least we're trying something. And with that try, maybe we'll go into something which is uncharted for us.
That is so powerful. So you're basically saying that find the people who see the same North Star as you do, then empower them and create a culture to fail fast, but learn from the failures as well.
Exactly.
Right. And then be innovative as well while you're doing it. Right. So I think this is a very good, playbook and a formula that you just shared with us. What have been the key highlights of your journey to date, and what's exciting around the corner?
See, every day is a new journey, or every day has been a key highlight. When we started off, you know more than I do. You've been in the entrepreneur journey for a very long time as well. That the first few years are always very difficult. So for us, there were more difficulties than usual. Just after year one, we got issues where we were given a quota to import. because the forex issue and all in 2022, 2023, which was very limited. So that hampered the growth. And for us, the biggest problem is, for me, I'd say, the mobile phone industry in Pakistan or is mainly of traders. They don't have that long-term vision. They're here to make a quick buck and go. We're not here for that. We're here for the long run. We're here for the marathon. So, and we're here to stay. So for us, maneuvering through them, working with the government to make sure the right policy is in place, because policy matters a lot. If you don't have the right policy in place, you won't be able to get the results you're looking for. So we've been trying to get that side sorted as well, we're working very closely with the government to make sure the right policy is in place. How can we be beneficial rather than just being a warm body provider? So this has been the main for us. It's a cutthroat market. Who we're competing with have deep pockets. There's a certain Chinese brands who in our neighboring country, India, splashed all their marketing budgets and everything just to cut the price to make sure that they have a certain volume, and they were able to they were successful in it. They drove others away, but at what cost? At the cost that most of the profits were going out later on when they got their chance. So that is why a check and balance needs to be there in place, and a space for local brands needs to be created. That from Pakistan something big is going to happen. That has been our growth strategy.
So you're basically creating a playbook, actually. You are actually leading and facing all these obstacles and putting the measures in place for others to come and follow it as well.
Somebody has to do it. If I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it.
That is amazing.
And that is going to put a stop for newcomers to come into this field. We want this field to change from traders to actual manufacturers to actual brands.
I think this is what we often talk about in the venture building space as well. Even as a nation, if you are a productive nation, right? If your productivity growth is growing, right, then you are of value, and automatically good things come, good alliances come, and then you just can literally solve more than half of the problems. And as you rightly said at the beginning, we don't have to wait for the government to do everything, right? We just got to show that we care, we are willing to actually put in the work to present something. And then people, because in the end of the day, government is also ran by people.
Exactly.
If people are dealing with people, so that is so wonderful. So, yeah, please.
Sorry, the governments have given a lot in the past and now as well. But the thing is, we as a nation have not been able to deliver on the promises that we've given to them. So we need to start delivering.
And do you think it is to do with the mindset? Because one of the things we have realized being on the ground in Pakistan, right, is technically we are amazing, right? You bring software, like now hardware, you are paving the path. Technicalities, we are amazing. Oftentimes it's our mindset, it's our own limited beliefs that can, get us to the position where when there are adversities, we think that we can't get out, or we think, oh, it's not even possible for us, or we can't even do it. And I think, how do you think we can actually communicate that we can do anything we put our mind to?
See, one thing that I'm a firm believer of is you'll not be put into a problem which you can't come out of. So all the problems that come to us or that have been bestowed upon us, we can resolve them. We can come out of them. What we need to do is we need to inculcate the thing that there's no such thing as shortcut in life. It's a long path. It's a difficult journey, and you have to go through that journey. It's not an easy one.
Enjoying the process is important.
Enjoying the process. We do see a lot of quick shortcuts or quick things that push our younger generation or my generation as well to do things that, okay, if they've done it in such a short time, why can't I? That pushes us to do things which should not be done.
Because we don't quantify it, because the people, and this is just my take, the people who have had quick wins, it's a very small percentage. Secondly, oftentimes it's not sustainable if it's without the why.
Exactly.
If it's without, that we are here to stay, we are here for a long run, right? And we do often say this, right, that enough of chasing unicorns, let's talk about building phoenixes.
Exactly.
Right? Because you are going to go to the ashes, right? It's the life, as you said, right? It's the cyclical nature that we're going to fall. It doesn't matter, but how hard you bounce back is what matters. And that's something has to be at the core of an entrepreneurial spirit, right? So what piece of advice would you give to the aspiring entrepreneurs or people who are, passionately Pakistani, right? People who really believe when things are very challenging, things are very tough, but they're still pushing it. They're still showing up every day and trying to do their best. What is the piece of advice would you give?
So one piece of advice would be that look for the real problems. Don't try to replicate what has been done globally would be successful in Pakistan as well. Pakistan is a very different country. It has a different set of problems. It has a different set of solutions as well. We have to do things that are needed for Pakistan. Not what has been done globally would be successful here. That is advice number one. Advice number two would be take small steps. It is a long path. Go slowly but surely, and you will succeed one day.
That is so powerful. Small baby steps. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? And meaningful changes do come about with perseverance, grit, resilience, keep moving forward. I think it's very foundation in the values that you have, and I'm now thinking out loud here that that's been cultivated to your team as well, right? So before we come to an end, I just have a couple of questions. So when you said that you're going to be now, coming towards your own smartphones and
we're already into it.
Yeah. And when is that going to come out, and how is that going to?
Hopefully, within August, September, we'll be launching a phone that has been completely designed in Pakistan. It's going to be the first one.
End to end. First one?
Not end to end, I would say. See, the thing is, there's certain limitations that we have as well. We're still developing those capabilities. But when it comes to hardware design, we've designed it ourselves.
Congratulations. That is just amazing.
Thank you.
It is very exciting, actually. This is really exciting because you are now getting people to see the possibilities. As they say that once the mind is illuminated, it can never go back to darkness.
Exactly.
So this is what you guys are doing with that. So it's going to be completely designed in Pakistan.
We've applied for the patents and applied for the IPR as well. So hopefully we should get it before we launch, or since it's already an application, so we're safe.
You are, yeah. And so you're launching it. Wow, that is amazing. Well done. Well done. And what is the key factor, do you think, behind this happening?
See, the key factor would be you have to start developing capabilities. You can't just rely on outside world always. And slowly and gradually, you'll do it. The others have done it.
Why can't we do it?
Why can't we do it?
And one last question I have. Looking back in your journey, is there anything you would have done differently?
I don't know. I don't know. I've done so many things. I don't remember. I don't think. Maybe no. Maybe what have been done is this is the way it should have been done.
And the way you have done so many things differently, right? Or different things you have done. Do you think it's important for one to have the healthy appetite with the failure and healthy relationship with the failure and trying different things before they say that, okay, this is my lifelong why or lifelong purpose?
Yes. You need to experiment yourself. You need to explore yourself. Till the time you don't do that, how would you even know what you want to do?
And how do you promote that? Especially, let's say, parents who actually want or know certain things for their children, or even youth or entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, because they go to college, universities, or the way society is designed. How do you think outside the box, or what
Question is, do they know? Would a parent know what the child is going to do? No, they cannot. They can, from their own successes, tell the person, okay, you can go into this field because we've seen this to be successful, or I've been successful in this. Everyone is different from each other.
100%.
So you'll have to experiment yourself. You'll have to find yourself, and that is how you'll succeed. But the thing is, not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur as well. If everyone becomes an entrepreneur, how would you'll get jobs and all?
Yes.
So you need to have an appetite of entrepreneurship, or you need to have an appetite to take risks as well. You need to start taking certain calculated risks before you go all in.
100%. Entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's a personality trait, and you can be an entrepreneur and still work somewhere, but you're going to just stand out from the crowd. So you're going to just climb up the ladder, or just, like, achieve greater things within the organization. And I think the percentage is very important. But currently, do you think we have a very small percentage of people who actually look towards entrepreneurship versus, because, you need to have enough jobs to accommodate graduates or accommodate people who are skilled, right? Do you think in Pakistan we have a right balance, or there is?
I think we will get to the right balance. It's not there, but we will get to the right balance. More and more jobs will be created. More and more entrepreneurs will be coming in as well.
That is amazing. You have been phenomenal,
Thank
Naqi.
you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I wish you all the luck with all the things that you're going to be ventured into. I see you have a vertical now with the pause machine, and fully designed in Pakistan. That's just wonderful. Many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Amin.
Thank
Take
you.
care.